Hello, all you drama enthusiasts. Welcome to the meeting. This is Angie's Drama Room, and I am your meeting host, Angie. Um, Thank you for joining in on the meeting. What is Angie's Drama Room? If you did not know, I do commentary, insight, my thoughts, my reviews, and sometimes my rants when it comes to Asian inspired dramas. And today we're going to be talking about the final ending or the final review, my final review on a Chinese costume romantic drama, Faded Hearts. I have enjoyed this drama from beginning to end. Before, I really did not care too much for costume dramas, and I always stopped short of watching them. This one, with Faded Hearts, it was excellent writing, excellent direction, very excellent direction, and excellent actor and actress that are playing in it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Faded Hearts. This one starred our male lead, Chen Zi Yin, and our female lead, Li Chen. It was mostly a revenge drama. That's kind of how it was. To me, also, as I was continuing to watch it, it kind of had a little bit of a contemporary feel to it, also. I like the hand to hand combat. I like the prince. So I'm not quite sure. I did pay, yes, I did pay the extra $6.99 to to watch the last four episodes before they aired to the standard subscription viewers, VIP viewers. If I didn't, there was too many spoilers on social, and if I would have waited to watch it each day, each episode per day, one episode was going to give us one episode per day, I wouldn't have been able to be on social. I know they see it before I see it here in the States, but to me, it's like they watch that clip, they pull it, and immediately post it on social. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So that's really one of the things I really don't care too much for, and then you kind of pass it, so you miss all that. But after a while, it just gets too much. I would give it a 10. Yes, I would. However, the first 18 episodes, I wouldn't have done that. I would probably would have gave it maybe a 7 or an 8. Because the first 18 episodes, the first half of the drama, is just a setup. And yes, I did binge watch it as each episode aired. It was still captivating. I think the Princess Gambit, it was a little bit more slow paced for the first half of the drama. But again, by the time you got to the end of the drama, that's when it all went to head. Just like the Faded Hearts. It, Faded Hearts, I believe the title Faded Hearts, it was the first 18 episodes, got us into the feels. It was a enemy to lover trope. She was not necessarily a general, but she had a title called the Red Clad General, which is uh, Yi Zhao. So she was considered, they call her the Red Clad General. So, and she was a archery expert. Then we had our prince, who I like the fact that it wasn't like a step prince or a concubine prince. No, he was the actual prince, the actual heir to the throne. So I like that about him. But of course, as anything, he didn't want it to give up. He didn't want the throne. That's the only thing I don't like about these dramas, where they have it the prince, the crown prince or the prince, doesn't want the throne, and they'll give up the throne, and it's usually give a throne for a woman. I'm not going to give you a spoiler. I'm not going to try to give you spoilers to the end, because if you are the ones who are waiting per day, did not want to pay the extra, then I'm not going to do that to you. But in this particular one, it did make sense, and it did actually end pretty good. So I did enjoy the ending on this one. The princess who defied her brother, the prince, and went off and married the man that she loved, and he been trying to tell him he ain't no good, just like any woman, right? We try to tell you he ain't no good, but however, they didn't want to listen. So she went off and married him, and she had a rude awakening when she did. Show really, Faded Hearts is mostly a revenge show. either because he became a tyrant king, a tyrant prince, either because of something he did, they wanted to kill him, or something that that was like the sins of the father, his father did, is reason why they wanted to kill him. And so he was always fighting to stay alive, and that's kind of how it was. Yes, he was the leader of the army of the battalion, as a Fong battalion. So he was the leader of the battalion. I liked how he defied his father. He defied the throne. He defied. I mean, if I'm not trying to give a spoiler here, but he defied his father, and then the Queen Dawager, which was the stepmama, she thought she could say something to him and had some rule over him. I'm like, look, lady, he defied his own father. What makes you think you can tell him what to do? And yeah, he didn't play her either. So, he already hated her, but it did make a lot more explanation and make a lot more sense that the father actually had an alternative motive. And I like that twist that they put in there. So they did have a lot of twists, and the twist was actually really good. Sometimes we have these little twists and turns, and it makes sense, but no, they had a lot of twists in here, and I like that twist in here. The only thing I probably didn't care too much for, it was okay, but I didn't care too much for, was when Yi Zhao, which was the um, general, female general there, um, she was kind of like fight for your man, but it was a little bit overbearing. She was too much into his business type of thing. I know I said that for the best choice ever. And she was always pushing herself. So there's a difference between fighting for your man and just being all up in his business. And, no, that's not how you do it. But okay, I work with you on it. I'm all right. And so she was by his side all that time. Now, this one, I wouldn't necessarily give it a five flame smooth worthy uh, costume drama as I would have done it with the Prisoner of Beauty, because Prisoner of Beauty was all about the romance, all about the tug and the pull and the getting drawn together. That was the Prisoner of Beauty. But this one, it touched on it. It didn't have that swoon worthiness that you would want. The director, the writing, the actors and actresses in it was superb. Even the sub actors and actresses, the adults, was superb. Even the other Kingdom Prince, Emperor, he was excellent. They took time in choosing these actors and actresses. It wasn't like they were just throwing somebody in there. The Professor Ling, which was the Dr. Ling, excellent. When they went into to the mountains, the adult actors and actresses in that one, excellent. The writing was excellent. I always thought it was kind of interesting. You kind of forget what was happening in the beginning of the ATMs. By the time you get to the second half of the drama, it's like, wait a minute, you forget what happened in the beginning. That's what happened with me on Shadow Love. I actually had to go back and, okay, I had to remember what was going on in the first episode. I was like, okay, gotcha. Then I went back. But anyway, that's kind of how it was kind of interesting about that. And I think they draw away from that whole, it was just a story arc. So they draw you away from that whole first 18 episodes to bring you here. And I'm literally, the second half is where it all comes down to it. The revenge comes to head. Should you have started on the second half? Not really, because you still needed a little bit of a context, and it actually still was captivating, drawing me in. And it did have a lot more. The pacing was really good in the drama. So it was one thing goes and then the next thing goes, and even with the sub characters, sometimes when they add the fillers of the sub characters in, it gets a little boring. No, it was actually pretty good. The sub characters were very, very good in that. So that's the reason why it did continue captivate me up until the 18th episode, up until the revenge part of the last half of the episode. Last year, if you tell me about costume dramas, I would have told you, and I don't like them. It was too many filler episodes. It was just too much going on. I like the idol dramas because it doesn't make sense, but however, it makes sense, and it gets you in there, gets you captivated each and every episode. So That's kind of all I really need to say about this drama without trying to give you all the spoilers. The the prince, Chi Yin, excellent, excellent. This his they whoever wrote this character did an excellent job, and I enjoyed it, and that's kind of why I watched it, was because of him, and it was very excellent. It did pull on your heartstrings, so it did pull on you, on your heart. You're like, oh, but it was still an excellent drama. I really did enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Meeting adjourned.